Hello. It's my first time going live from my own page. Hold on. This is nerve-wracking. Is anybody there? Type me a message. Okay, I see 2 people are on. And we've got 3. Okay, my name is Kendra. I'm with Where's the Moon Astrology. I am the creator of Where's the Moon Astrology. I wanted to talk tonight about the new moon in Virgo, which is occurring at 1:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alright. I don't know if I can see comments or not. Let me see. What is going on here? Wish I could do this from my computer. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and start talking. Let me know if you have any questions. I don't know if I can see comments though. Alright, so first things first, you will want to know your ascendant sign to get the most out of this broadcast. You can easily find that at cafeastrology.com. For beginners, it is easy to find your ascendant sign. If you just know your time of birth, you just log on to cafeastrology.com and you will easily be able to find out what your ascendant sign is. You don't really need to know anything else to follow along with this video, actually. But basically, the new moon, that is the beginning of the moon cycle that occurs once every month. So during the new moon time, this is a time when the energy easily lends itself to new beginnings, new projects, and new goals. It is a time when you will want to set your intentions, which sounds a little bit hippy-dippy, but it is a time when you'll want to set your intentions and set your goals for the month, decide what it is you'd like to accomplish, and the new moon is just really when you want to start really feeling the energy of what it is that you're trying to accomplish for this month. Hold on a second. Oh, I can put on a mask. Hi Jennifer! Yay, I can see comments. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. So, the new moon in Virgo. Virgo is a sign that is all about practicality, it's all about efficiency, it's all about what is working and what isn't, what is most logical, and of course service. Virgo is all about service, practical service to others. So, the new moon in Virgo energy easily lends itself to beginning new projects that require structure. Beginning new projects that require logic and planning, and really just kind of fishing out what is going to be most efficient and what is not efficient, what is working and what is no longer working in your life. Because Virgo is all about that. Virgo is about efficiency. It's about making things work most efficiently. So I wanted to talk about the new moon's effect on each of the ascendant signs. So definitely figure out what your ascendant sign is if you don't already know. I guess we will start with Aries. Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. So if your ascendant is in Aries, the new moon in Virgo energy is really compatible with where this is falling in your chart, because it is falling in the natural house of Virgo, which is the 6th house. So with the new moon in Virgo falling in your 6th house, you are, hold on a second, Gemini rising. So with the new moon in Virgo in your 6th house, you are going to have this energy that easily lends itself to efficiency in the workplace. The sixth house is the house of service. It's the house of your coworkers, your working environment, health, wellness, all of those things. Oh, Cancer. I'm a Cancer rising too. So with the new moon in Virgo in your sixth house, you are going to have this new moon energy lending itself to new beginnings in that area of life. It's actually a really good time to begin new health routines, to begin working out, to begin a new eating or health regimen. It's just a perfect time to really decide how you want. Oh, thank you. So, Aries rising, so I'm talking about you, Jayla. Jayla, is that how you say your name? I mean, I think so. So you are going to be probably, okay, this is not, when I say the energy lends itself to this, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is definitely how it's going to play out for you. This is what the energy is lending itself to. So you are really, oh, Venus in Virgo, that's great, especially if the new moon is activating your Venus. So the new moon energy is lending itself to that, meaning that you can decide how you want to use that energy. If you just sit around all month doing nothing, you're not just going to have magical new beginnings in that area of life. But basically, it's lending itself to new regimens, new health regimens, you know, new work environment, you know, maybe a job promotion, anything to do with new beginnings in the work environment, new beginnings with health, new beginnings regarding maybe pets. Actually, the sixth house is also about small pets. I'm glad you're excited. Now for Taurus rising. The new moon is falling in your fifth house. New moon in Virgo in your fifth house. So, the fifth house is about children, it's about your creative projects, it's about anything that you give birth to and put out into the world. Your babies, which could be literal babies or it could be anything that you are creatively putting your energy into. So, with the new moon falling in your fifth house, the Virgo new moon falling in your fifth house, again, Virgo is all about efficiency. So the new moon in Virgo falling in your fifth house might mean that you are giving more structure to your creative activities. You are giving more structure. You are putting more planning and detail into those creative projects, those creative endeavors. You might implement new structures regarding the way that you deal with your children. Regarding your love affairs, actually the fifth house is about love affairs too, not really committed partnerships, but love affairs, the things that give you butterfly feelings. So you might have, want more structure in those areas of life. The fifth house, play, fun activities. You might even develop a new strategy for gambling, because the fifth house is also about gambling. Yes, we were talking about ascendant signs, your rising sign. So yes, that's fantastic. It's falling in your second house. So, on to Gemini. Gemini. The Virgo new moon is falling in your fourth house. Fourth house is all about your home, your family, your roots, your early environment. It's also about real estate and things of that nature. So the new moon in Virgo, actually, of course this is kind of like a big deal kind of thing, but you could be buying a new house. You could be moving to a new location. Of course, that's not going to be the case for all, because, you know, moving is a big deal. But it could be that you are moving to a new location, or you are implementing new structures, new routines in the way that you handle your home environment. You might be, especially because Virgo is all about you know, organizing. You might be organizing your home. You might be implementing new structures in the way you go about, you know, cleaning, cooking. You might just be setting up those structures. Keep getting messages. Sorry. So you might be just implementing those structures in your home environment, organizing things, and figuring out ways to be more efficient in your home environment. And also, the fourth house is also about your emotions. It's who you are when you're in private. So you might also be doing some self-analysis during this time. New moon in Virgo in the fourth house is ideal for doing a little self-analysis. Virgo is a very analytical sign, so you can really be introspective during the coming month. Kind of look within and find out what needs to be changed, what is most efficient, what is working and what is not working. Hi, how are you? Now for Cancer Ascendant, this is my ascendant sign. This is falling in your third house. The Virgo new moon is falling in your third house. The third house is about communication, it's about your siblings, it's about activities, short trips. I think of the third house as a very busy energy. It's, naturally ruled by Gemini, which is a very busy sign, a lot of nervous energy going on. So with the new moon in Virgo falling in your third house, you might be putting a lot of structure into those things. You might be having new beginnings in the realm of communication, in the realm of your siblings, and the kind of I also think of the third house as kind of the house of people that you know or are familiar with, but not really intimately connected to. So you might be experiencing a lot of interaction on that level during this month. You might be experiencing a lot of opportunities to get out and about, keep yourself busy. You might be experiencing a lot of just kind of low-level communication. I don't want to say like low level because that's kind of an insult to third house types, but it's just, communication that is more efficient communication. Yeah, a lot of activity during a new moon in Virgo in the third house month. It's a very mercurial thing going on because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and of course Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So just a lot of activity going on this month. You might be figuring out ways to better communicate with others. How you've been communicating that hasn't been quite so efficient. How you might have not communicated effectively, not communicated clearly. And also what you want to put action into as opposed to just speculation, because I think of the ninth house as being a house of philosophy and speculation. Directly opposite, you have the house of Gemini, the third house, which is all about putting activity into that, really putting some energy into it. No, I'm about to get to Leo, actually, right now. For Leo Ascendant, the Virgo new moon is falling in your second house. So the second house is all about your personal resources, your personal belongings, what is mine, right? The eighth house is all about what is ours, what belongs to both parties, shared finances. The second house is about what is mine, what belongs to me personally. This might be a month, it's also about money. Second house is very, very connected to money. So with the new moon in Virgo in your second house, of course, like I said before, Virgo is all about what is most efficient, what is working and what is not working. Ours. What belongs to okay. House is about what trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, can everybody see me? Are we good? Okay, so let me know if you're here and you can hear me, because we definitely had a little interruption there. You guys can hear me? Okay, I'm going to keep talking. You guys just let me know if you can't hear me. So, the new moon in Virgo in the second house is all about structuring what belongs to you. I definitely think of new moon in Virgo in the second house as a house of budgeting, a house of, or a time when you might want to start budgeting, a time when you might want to come up with kind of a plan for how you want to handle your finances, like a plan of attack, as opposed to just kind of going with the flow, spending your money, waiting, too much month at the end of your money kind of thing. You might actually want to start planning your finances. This is in addition to the possibility for an opportunity to create more finances for yourself, create more wealth. You might have a new job opportunity. That's often something that happens with new moon in the second house. But because it's Virgo, I definitely think it's about the kind of energy that you are putting into it, the kind of planning you're putting into it, the effort, figuring what's efficient and what's inefficient as far as how you've been spending your money and how you want to go about structuring your finances in the coming month, and perhaps for some time to come. It's a great time. It's a great time to budget, great time to seek employment, a great time to, I don't know about investing so much. It seems like more of an 8th house thing, but anything to do with your finances. So investing, yeah, probably investing as well. So now we're on to Virgo. Yes, Virgo. Okay. Now we're on to Virgo. Virgo, the new moon in Virgo in the first house. That is a very nice, new moon. New moon in the first house is often indicative of a time when you are really creating new beginnings for yourself. I think the new moon in the 12th house, which is what you experienced last month, can be kind of rough. So this is kind of like almost a rebirth. During the new moon in the 12th house, you might have gone through some endings, and with the new moon in the first house, this is all about the kind of new beginnings that you're creating for yourself. The first house is the house of self, it's the house of the physical body, and it's also the house of new beginnings. So I think that just personal new beginnings, getting over a heartbreak, or figuring out what you want to be doing with your life, or it's also about, it can be about like reshaping your physical body. If there's something about your appearance that is not sitting right with you, something about you, your physical person that you want to change, the new moon in Virgo will help you change that. Virgo is a very critical sign, so you might be quite critical of yourself during this time, and as long as you don't take that to a really self-deprecating level like Virgo tends to do, it can be like a healthy self-criticism. You criticize yourself enough to where you are able to clearly see what you are not enjoying about your appearance, what you are not enjoying about your behavior, what you are not enjoying about what you've been projecting into the world. So the new moon in Virgo can really help you decide. Are you guys hearing me? Because I know no one's commenting right now, so I'm just not sure if you guys can hear me. So the new moon in Virgo can really help you decide what it is that you are not quite pleased with about you, about yourself, and figuring out how, figuring out what you want to do, what you need to do to make the changes that are necessary. Now for Libra. The new moon in Virgo for Libra Ascendant will fall in your 12th house. Now, as I said, the new moon in your 12th house can be kind of a rough time, because it's actually it can be kind of like the beginning of an ending, because the 12th house is the house of isolation. It's the house of hidden enemies. It's the house of deception. It's also the house of spirituality. So there are positive aspects to the 12th house as well. But with new moon in Virgo in the 12th house, there might be kind of, hey Katie, how are you? It can be kind of the beginning of an ending with the new moon in Virgo in the 12th house, because like I said, the 12th house is about endings, and I don't know if it's just me, but for me, 12th house is very difficult. Transits to my 12th house are very difficult. The moon in the 12th house is very difficult. There's like a period of about 2 or 3 months every summer where I just kind of shut down when the planets go through my 12th house. So I am not really a fan of having things in my 12th house. But yeah, it can be the beginning of an ending, but it's making a way for the new moon in Libra next month, when you will be experiencing that kind of rebirth. You will be very introspective during this month. I think that there might be, this is a good opportunity to structure some of your spirituality. Put a little bit of that Virgo efficiency energy into your spirituality, deciding how you want to go about connecting with yourself on the spiritual levels. For instance, new meditation practice, any kind of spiritual endeavors that put you in a place where you are in isolation, alone, getting to know yourself. That's going to be the new moon in Virgo in the 12th house energy. And of course, new moon in Virgo is also very critical. So you might be critical of your past disconnection with yourself, your past disconnection with your spirituality, and wanting to make some changes. And this goes kind of for any sign. The new moon in Virgo can be very critical. You will be kind of criticizing yourself for how you've been in the past and wanting to make changes to be more efficient. Hi, Abby. So, Scorpio. New moon in Scorpio in the 11th house. New moon in Virgo in the 11th house for Scorpio Ascendant. Now, new moon in Virgo falling in your 11th house. The 11th house is the house of your long-term vision, your friendships, humanitarian causes, basically how your ideal, your utopian ideal of the future, how you would want things to be in a perfect world, I think, when I think of the 11th house. Again, also the house of friendships. It's a very sociable house, being the natural house of Aquarius. So with the new moon in Virgo in your 11th house, you will be doing some analyzing of your friendships, first of all. You will be deciding what friendships have been working for you, what friendships have not been working for you, what is no longer serving you, and you might be making some decisions to cut certain people out of your life. In addition, of course, also you might meet new friends. The new moon is also about new beginnings. So with new moon in Virgo in the 11th house, you might be meeting new people. I think you will also be kind of planning out... No, can't hear you. So you will also be kind of planning out how you want your future to be. I think a lot of energy is going to be put into your ideal of the future during new moon in Virgo in the 11th house. So we'll be kind of planning out your future, daydreaming, kind of coming up with ideas of how you'd like for your future to be. Aw, thank you, Carrie. Coming up with ideas of how you would like for your future to be, and taking practical steps towards those goals, those long-term goals. The 11th house is very long-term. It's future vision. So I definitely would say this is about your long-term goals, but you'll be taking practical steps in the present over this month to make those long-term goals come to fruition at some point in time, whether it's now or later. Let me see. Okay, so Sagittarius. New moon in Sagittarius in the 10th house. Now that's a pretty nice, the 10th house is an angular house. For Sagittarius Ascendant, the new moon in Virgo is going to be falling in your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of public image, the house of reputation. I always think of the 10th house as like your reputation. If people didn't know you in person and they knew your online presence, they only had heard about you through other people, this is your reputation. This is what people know about you when they don't know anything about you. What they see when they look at your profile picture, what they see when they look at, hear about your career, your presence in the workplace. And, this is your authority as well. So a new moon in Virgo in the 10th house, this is a time when you have an opportunity to really step into your authority, your personal power, kind of decide what it is that you'd like to put out there. Virgo is very cautious. So with the new moon in Virgo in the 10th house, you'll be deciding a little more, you'll probably be giving a little more discretion to what you want to put out there into the public realm for everyone to see. And you will be kind of planning your steps. You'll be planning your steps a little more for your public image, your career. You might have a lot of opportunities for new beginnings in the realm of your career, what you'd really like to be doing with your life. The steps that you want to take for your reputation, for your personal authority, what you want to be doing in the world. You can put a lot of energy. You can actually, the Virgo energy is always lending itself to that efficiency, always lending itself to that having discretion and making moves that are logical. So the new moon in Virgo in the 10th house, it's all about what is logical, what are the right steps to bring your goals into fruition. Now for Capricorn Ascendant. Hold on, I'm getting a little thirsty. Okay. So for Capricorn Ascendant, yes, precise moves, yes. Virgo is very, very precise, a little too precise for my taste sometimes. I worked with a Virgo. I think she's adorable. Honestly, I think all Virgos are absolutely adorable because they're just so cute. They don't know, like, they think they're being like, okay, I don't want to be offensive to any Virgos out there. I'm not trying to be condescending, but I just honestly think Virgos are adorable because they think they're being like really mature and they're being really measured, and they're doing no, not all of any sign is going to be adorable, but they think they're being really measured and they think they're really being mature, but they're just so cute with the way they do this stuff. So like I had a Virgo supervisor, right? And she was just adorable to me. Like, she had to have things done a certain way. She could not handle things not being done with her precise way, even though it didn't make sense to anybody else. Like, she had this filing system that was all wackadoo, and it just didn't make any sense to anybody. And we tried and tried to get her to change it, and she just wouldn't and wouldn't. And she was just like, oh, well, that's interesting. Kind of like, I really don't care. This is kind of how I want to do it. But I don't know. I just think they're adorable with their whole, it has to be the way I want it, and I don't know. I just think it's so cute when they do their whole analytical thing. Honestly, I just really love anytime the signs act out, the traits of their sign. I just think that's so funny. Anyway, so for Capricorn Ascendant, the new moon in Virgo is falling in your 9th house. So, this is actually a really nice thing. I love 9th house energy. 9th house energy is, 9th house is about like higher education. It's about travel. It's about freedom, all things of Sagittarius. So the 9th house is just like a really positive placement. Anytime I have stuff going into my 9th house, or I have a lot of 9th house activity, I find myself reading a lot, just absorbing a lot of information. No, I'm an Aries sun. I find myself just reading a lot, absorbing a lot of information, just really finding a lot of pleasure in, you know, taking in new information and, you know, connecting to myself spiritually. So, but it's like a different kind of spirituality than the 12th house, which is kind of like, to me, feels kind of like dark and gloomy, and I need to go inside myself and figure things out. But the 9th house energy is much more positive, in my opinion. So the new moon in Virgo obviously is going to be critical. It's going to be, you know, measured. It's going to be taking stock of what is working and what is not working. And you're probably going to be coming up with new ways of practicing your spirituality. New ways of learning, new ways of, I think honestly, there's a possibility with the new moon in the 9th house for travel, or things to do with foreign people. That's also, the 9th house is also about travel. So there could be something to do with travel, there could be something to do with, you know, the opportunity to travel, there could be something to do with the opportunity to go to school. There might be an educational opportunity for you, and you're just going to really be presented with opportunities to elevate your knowledge, elevate your experience. You're probably going to be given the opportunity for a lot of experience. My sun is Aries, my ascendant is Cancer, so there's just going to be a lot of opportunity for you to elevate yourself, you know, connect to your spirituality, maybe travel, gain more life experience. I just love the 9th house, so I would just put my energy into a lot of reading, analyzing what I want to make a part of my spiritual practice, and what is working for me on a spiritual level. No, Sagittarius moon is why I love the 9th house energy. Just so compatible with my my natural state of being. So, next we have Aquarius. So for Aquarius, the new moon is occurring in the 8th house. So, the water houses are not very fun for me. New moon in Virgo in the, oh yeah, I'm 28 degrees. Oh, you're a Sagittarius moon? Oh, this is yours. Okay, your ascendant sign. So for Aquarius ascendant, new moon in Virgo is going to be falling in your 8th house. 8th house is about sex, intimacy, joint resources, shared finances, transformation, death and rebirth. It's the natural house of Scorpio, which is, and also power. Power is big when it comes to 8th house energy. So new moon in the 8th house is going to be giving you the opportunity to step into your personal power, I think, but kind of similar to the 12th house in the sense that it might not be very pretty. It might not feel very nice, because 8th house stuff is very... 8th house stuff is very deep, and people love to talk about the 8th house in Scorpio because there is this depth to it, there is this intensity to it that people just love, this sexiness. But like, for Plutonians, and I'm not like heavily Pluto myself, but for Plutonians, it's like one of those things where everybody wants to be Plutonian, but nobody really wants to be Plutonian, because that intensity that comes off as really sexy to a lot of people. Not so sexy when you are, you know, going to the depths and transforming in this really painful way. Oh, my midheaven is Aries. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of depth that goes on. I'm also Cancer Mars, Chiron and Cancer conjunct the ascendant, so yeah, a lot of Cancerian stuff going on. But I don't think I come off as really shy like Cancer. Well, I hope not anyway. Yeah, 8th house energy is like, it's one of those things to where everybody wants it, but nobody really wants it. So new moon in Virgo in your 8th house can actually be kind of a depressing time. It might be a time when you are going through some really intense and difficult changes, you know, the end of a relationship, or maybe like, you know, just dealing with trauma, dealing with addictions, dealing with things that keep you stuck. You're going to be, this is going to be a month where you're going to be breaking things down. You're going to be breaking things down, especially because of that Virgo energy being really critical and doing a lot of that analysis. You're going to be going inside. This is another transit like the 12th house, where you're going to be pretty internal. You might spend a lot of time alone during this month, and you're going to be probably, I just don't want to say anything that's going to make it sound like it's just terrible, but it can be kind of terrible. But the thing is about the 8th house is that, and Pluto, anything scorpionic, Pluto, whatever. Oh, thank you, I guess. Anything scorpionic and Plutonian is, it's going to start horrible. It's going to start really horribly. And, it's going to end with this transformation that is so powerful, so far-reaching, that you just don't want to go back to what you were before. So this is going to be kind of like a more short-term thing that's going on here with the new moon in Virgo in the 8th house, because it's just a month that this new moon is going to be in effect. But it's still going to be powerful. It's going to be kind of like a Aquarius ascendant. It's still going to be a powerful period of time. It's going to be a time when you are beginning this transformation, and it's kind of happening all month. But I think by the end of the month, you'll be in a much better place. By the time new moon, it's one of those things like I talked about the 12th house being the house of endings, and once you get through that new moon in the 12th house, you get to go to the new moon in the 1st house, which is all about beginnings. You're going through this beginning of transformation, which can be a bit traumatic, can be a bit difficult to handle. And then you get to go to the 9th house, which is all about experience and fun and building on the transformation that took place while you had this 8th house activity going on. So then you get to go from this deep, dark place where you did all this transformation, and then you get to step into the light again. So it's not all doom and gloom for the rest of your life, even though it might feel like that when you have 8th house stuff going on. Now for Pisces ascendant. The new moon in Virgo is going to be happening in your 7th house. And this is a nice house because, a nice transit, because the 7th house is obviously about your relationships. It's about the house of the other, where you're sitting, okay, so I think of the ascendant as where you sit. This is where you sit. This is where you're looking at the world, right? Directly across from you, you have the 7th house, which is the house of the other, the general other. I think of the 7th house as being the house of, again, the general other. This is how you see kind of the rest of the world. There tends to be kind of an internal divide between how you see yourself and how you see the rest of the world. These traits are traits that can annoy you a little bit, things that are not natural for you, because the 7th house is kind of where you're lacking. These signs can balance each other out. With the new moon in Virgo in the 7th house for Pisces ascendant, you are dealing with an energy that is conducive to restructuring your relationships, restructuring the way that you deal with other people, restructuring the way that you do those partnerships. And this is the house of partnerships. It's more committed partnerships than it is like you know, the 5th house, which is all about fun and romance and stuff. Yes, I already talked about your ascendant sign. Oh no, I'm talking about your ascendant sign right now. So the new moon in Virgo in your 7th house is all about, you know, restructuring the way you do relationships. It can also be conducive to the beginning of a new relationship. But of course, you're going to be dealing with that kind of critical, kind of analytical Virgo energy. So you're going to be really analyzing the way you do your partnerships and the way that you handle yourself within a relationship. So it's really conducive for making positive and healthy changes within your existing relationships, and it's conducive if you're not in a relationship to beginning a new one. And of course, this doesn't even have to be romantic partnerships. This can just be about how you deal with your relationships, your friendships. The 7th house is about your one-on-one friendships as well, your business partnerships. So this is the energy is very much lends itself to just restructuring all of those things: your business partnerships, your friendships, your romantic relationships, any kind of one-on-one partnership that you have. So that was, I did all 12 in the zodiac. Does anybody have any questions? I literally hear crickets right now. My door is open and I hear crickets outside. That's not good. It's just not good. Ain't nobody talking to me. Boop. Alright, well that's all I really had to say. So if you want to, I'll go ahead and end the broadcast. If you want to ask more questions, if you can think of anything that you want to ask later on, you can. Well, I'm going to publish, if it'll let me. I will publish this to my page so you can watch it. October, huh? The new moon in Libra, so that'll be happening in your 12th house. I would just go back and watch this broadcast after I publish it and look at the interpretation. Oh, alright, you didn't talk about your ascendant sign. So I would find out your ascendant sign and then go back and watch this broadcast and figure out what that overlay is going to be for you next month, the new moon. Also, guys, I do offer personal chart readings, all kinds of readings, transit readings, so you know, I could tell you a little more in depth about the influences that are going on for you personally during the month. I offer a 3-month transit reading, so you can definitely purchase one of those. I offer birth chart readings, relationship readings, all kinds of readings. Advice for Aries risings this month. I would say try not to be too critical of your coworkers. Virgo has a tendency to just criticize and criticize and criticize. You've got the new moon of Virgo in your 6th house, which is, you know, your coworkers. So you might want to, you're going to be wanting to implement those structures in your working environment, but you, Virgo can have a tendency to overdo it with the criticism. But yes, I offer all kinds of readings. Solar return readings, lunar return readings, all kinds of readings. So hit the book now button on my page and just take a look, see what you like. I also offer tarot readings. Just take a look, see what interests you. Anyway, you guys have a great evening. I will let you go now.